How old?
multivitamin, like everything. My liver's elevated from that.
Oh,
So I mean,
wow.
anything that you have to process through your liver, even though it's classified like through a naturopath as healthy, you're still going to put pressure on your liver. So there's no
Yeah.
real way getting around it.
Well, I've had problems with cholesterol. I've had problems with liver enzymes. I've over the years, because I've competed and whatever. And that, like, I've heard that like a lot of sports people do have sometimes elevated testosterone levels. But this, I've read that necessarily with athletes, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's more the ratio of HDL to LDL that's concerning.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but more even to do with that. The cholesterol is not as huge of an issue. Cholesterol is very important for being, for muscle growth as well.
That's
So
what I mean, yeah.
it's more about the occlusions and blockages in your artery walls, and that's only really found from a CT angiogram and echocardiogram that you go and get tested, and that's the best method. I believe it was. Don't quote me on this. It might have been Bill Clinton who had like their stress test, and his heart was steady, his heart was fine, and then within like a month he had a heart attack.
Oh, wow.
So it's like
Okay.
if you had that other test, it would be more. Yeah, if you had the other test, it'd be more conducive to long-term health, and it's more accurate.
Just to go back to your beginnings a little bit, can you talk a little bit when you competed as a because not everybody knows how you turned pro, because I don't.
Yeah. Sure.
Can you? Where did you compete first? You say as a natural. And how much did you weigh then? And what made you?
Yeah, I got it to 93 kilograms in that federation. So I started training when I was 14. My older brother was involved, and I really got into it to connect with him. Never thought I was small. Never was like, do I look big in this top, or do I look small in that? I was never one of these guys. So when I hear about, the muscle dysmorphia a lot of people have, it kind of like, it's a bit foreign to me because I never had to experience that. It's more about, I'm like, if you're 100 kilos, you're fucking huge. Like I don't see how people can not see that. But at the same time, I know it's an issue and a mental issue. So I'm not going to, bag that out. But what I got into it was for more of a reason to connect with my brother, and that's what sort of I fell in love with. And I wasn't able to train when I was 12. I wanted to, and my parents said that it would stunt your growth. They believed, and they said when you're old enough to work, you're old enough to train. So as soon as I got my part-time job, straight away I was at the gym as well. So it was a real privilege for me to be able to work out. And so that, and then I started when I was 6 years later. I did my first contest. It was just like a regional title of Mr. Melbourne. And I was petrified. My knees were shaking on stage, something fierce, and everyone could see, and it was a bit embarrassing, but I knew that bodybuilding was what I wanted to do because I'd seen it on ESPN with the Mr. Olympia and photos that my brother had on the wall of all the bodybuilders and stuff, and I knew that's what I wanted. So although that was a huge risk, and no one, because I'm from a small country town in Australia, there's like 15,000 people there, no one was bodybuilding. No one knew bodybuilding contests. My brother trained, but no one knew bodybuilding contests. So that was really foreign to people as well, like losing all this weight and putting this tan on. And my dad was like, what the hell is this crap? But when he saw like the crowd and everything get behind me, he really sort of respected it and loved it. So from that as well, it was kind of a sentimental thing that my father and I connected a little bit with before he passed away. And then that's when I stopped competing as in the INBA, in that federation. I was 23, and the biggest I got was 93 kilograms. So I took just trained myself, and then I was almost 30, and I took it to the IFBB, the IFBB routes, and I was about 114 when I started there.
Wow. And
then I competed at my very first contest at about 111. I was 114 when I was a bit chubby when I started taking that route. And and I competed in the IFBB, and doors open there every time. Every time I competed as an amateur, I won every show, and I'm like, there must be something in here for me. And it's been like that kind of since. And that's then turning pro and competing in the first Arnold Classic here was awesome.
Is that